Hello, welcome to another Real Raw Moment. Today's Real Raw Moment is about circular growth. Okay, it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to give you a great visual to help you out with this. Now, this concept applies to anybody really who's been through the same or similar situation multiple times. Circular, right? That can be the feeling you've had multiple deaths, and every time you're experiencing grief, and it seems like the same thing over and over again. Certainly in PA and high conflict divorce and any sort of court proceedings, especially in civil and family law. If you're served enough times, or you have to be in court for yet another case conference or a motion or a trial or anything, every time that you have to dive back into those emotions and that scenario, let's call it the same courtroom, same building, same time of day, but multiple months or years apart, it can be very easy to not see personal growth, to feel that you're pulled right back to the first time you were in that situation. And listen, in a sense, you are. Your body's going to try to, because it's going to react somatically. It's going to be like, nope, there's a threat. This is how we feel. This is how we deal with it, or don't deal with it, and away we go. The beauty of life, work, therapy, is if you do the work to grow through and work through those situations, they aren't actually the same, even though they seem to start out the same way, because you will have grown. So the circular part, here's the visual I'm going to give you. The rings of a tree. All right, we've all seen a tree, right? If you haven't, go look on Google image. We cut down a tree, the rings say how many years that tree has been alive, right? So the first time you experience any situation, and let's in PA, let's talk about your first court appearance, your first visit to a lawyer, or the very first of the first. You all, have your own milestones in first. You were a sapling. You were this big. You were one ring, and you got through it. And maybe that took a few years. Maybe it took a couple months, but you gained some rings. And then there was a time without conflict per se, or maybe you'd finished that court process. There are always lulls, even when we are in the fight. There's still lulls. Now that's my opinion. I know there are some people that will tell me, well, Natalie, I'm fighting all day long, every day, and that's your fight. I'm speaking more from how I view things, and also how I have dealt with things and continue to deal with things as I grow, as I age. The things I'm talking about haven't happened over the courses of months. It's been years. But let's just say you had that first experience, and then, it took time, but you gained rings. You gained knowledge. You grew. And there was a time maybe where things were calmer, better, but you were still growing. Maybe you were in a therapy or a support group, or maybe you just grew. It's really actually hard as a human being not to grow. You actually be really intentional about it. Growth does take work, just like for a tree. It still has to reach out to the sun. It still needs to plant roots, still needs to do the work. But even in spite of itself, it still grows. And then you hit this wall, and you're like 10 rings in now, where a similar situation or perceived situation is occurring. And it's easy to feel like you were the sapling again, but you're not. You're not here. You're here. And then you deal with it, and you're still growing. You're still gaining experience. You're still moving forward, just like the tree. Still, in spite of itself, it's going to keep growing. Even through the dark times, even through the winter times when all the leaves are lost, the tree always comes back to bud again, right? And over time, the rings grow, you grow and you grow and you grow. And maybe someday, one day, you're faced with another situation that is the same or seems the same. It elicits the same somatic and mental, physical, emotional response. It takes you back to being the sapling, but you're no longer the sapling. You are however many rings from the sapling, those growth rings, or even from the last time. You're 10 rings difference. And from the sapling time, from the beginning, you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 rings. It can be a lot or a little, but you're never going to be where you were. And that's such an important thing to remember because it can seem so challenging and keeps you stuck when you're hit with a situation that you feel like you've already lived, or you have lived in some form, or experienced in some form, and you want nothing to do with, and yet you have to deal with it. But you're not starting from zero. You're not starting from sapling. You're starting from growth. And no matter what, you're going to continue to grow into this beautiful, mature tree entity that maybe can also help other saplings grow from their little bits, help to fertilize them, help to shelter them as they grow. So I don't know if that works for you or not. It works for me. I do love to have a good visual, and I always like to share and encourage that no matter what, you are still growing. You are not stuck. It can seem that way, 100%. And just like the tree has the dark times, it has the winter, it lets go of all of its leaves. We've seen all the memes and stuff on Facebook. But this I want you to actually apply to your life. Take a look. Seasons are there for a reason. There are seasons of darkness. There are seasons of dormancy. Trees don't die, but they do go dormant. And there's seasons of renewal, like spring. And there's seasons of growth and thriving, like summer. And there's seasons of reflection, of clearing out, of letting go in the fall. Let me know if this resonates with you or if it's something that you feel you can apply to your life.